to the English Journey podcast. For those who are new here, my name is Jasmine, and I am a teacher here in Toronto, Canada. I teach English online here with Glish, as well as this podcast, the English Journey podcast, but I also do teach in a classroom. I teach little students who are 6 years old to 7 years old. I teach them French and English. So I have a lot of different teaching experience, which I think helps me relate to teachers and students of pretty much all ages. I don't know if we have a lot of classroom teachers listening. I know we have online English teachers who listen, but in terms of those who actually go into the classroom and teach physically or in person, I'm not sure if we have many of those listeners. But if you are listening, shout out to you. I know how hard it can be right now. I myself am dealing with a lot. We have to go back to school starting in September here in Canada, and we will be teaching in person. We will be wearing masks, enforcing social distancing wherever possible, and eliminating as much touching and sharing of materials as we can. And I'm sure for any of you who have kids or spend time with kids, you know that is definitely going to be a challenge. I'm not exactly sure how I will go about it, considering they are 6 years old and they probably don't really understand the concept of being, safe and keeping a mask on without touching your face all day. So that will definitely be interesting. I am actually going to be vlogging some of my experience while I set up my classroom for a socially distanced classroom or a pandemic classroom, whatever you want to call it. And I will be putting that up on YouTube. So if you're interested in watching a little bit of my experience setting up for the school year, if you're a teacher or even if you're a student and you just find that interesting, of course, watching videos in English is great practice. So I will definitely have our YouTube channel down below in the description. You can subscribe to our channel. We post all of the episodes of our English Journey podcast on our YouTube with the option to click on the subtitles. And the subtitles are always edited through, so they're pretty accurate, and that can help you if you're looking for transcripts for our podcast. So if you ever feel like it's kind of difficult to understand what we're saying, or I am speaking too fast, you can always go on YouTube, slow down the video, and listen to the podcast that way. So yeah, it's a crazy time, crazy life as a teacher right now, and as anyone, like nobody is going through this right now and having an easy time. So there's a lot going on in the world, and I just hope everybody is doing okay. I hope you are focusing on your mental health and taking the time to just take care of yourself. I hope this podcast kind of plays a role in that. Maybe you get to spend some time listening to a podcast while you are driving or cleaning or just something for yourself, and I hope that we are helping you out. So thanks for listening, and let's get into today's episode. Today I am talking about weather idioms. So I do have another episode where I talked about fruit idioms. That was actually episode number 5. So if you are interested or you missed that one, be sure to check that one out. I go over a lot of really common and useful fruit idioms in English. Today we are going to go over weather idioms because I noticed you guys really do love to learn about idioms, and I personally love to learn about idioms in other languages too. So I think this will be a good one. I'm going to focus on 5, and I will really go more in depth with them. Sometimes if I go over too many in one episode, I feel like that's too much information and maybe you might forget how to use them. So I really want to just focus on 5 so that you can really understand these 5 weather idioms and learn how to use them in your real life. We have an entire blog post all about these weather idioms, and we actually posted 10 of them. So if you're looking for the other 5 that I don't mention in this podcast, be sure to check out our blog post. It's on glish.me/blog, and I will put that in the episode description box as well. Okay, so the first one I'm going to talk about today is a very common one. It goes, every cloud has a silver lining. And so what this means is that even when things seem really bad or negative, you should try to look for the positive side because there is always a positive side, or there is always a silver lining. I feel like this idiom is really applicable to what's going on in the world today. It's really easy to see all the, negative parts of what's going on or just the bad side to things. But it is important to keep your mindset positive, and like I mentioned, every cloud does have a silver lining. So let's take an example here. I could say, I know you're really sad that you lost your job, but every cloud has a silver lining. Now you're finally going to have time to focus on your passions. So see how I turned that bad situation of losing your job into something where, okay, yes, that happened, but now you have time to do something else. So it's just a good way to live your life. It's a good reminder. And I think that this idiom can be used in many different situations. You can use this in casual conversations, but it is also super acceptable to use in formal settings too, like speaking with colleagues or your boss or anything like that. For me personally, I could use this idiom with everything going on with the pandemic. I had to start teaching online instead of in person, so I was teaching my kids on, Google Hangouts and those kind of things, and every cloud has a silver lining because from that experience, I actually learned a lot more technology tools, and I learned about some really cool websites and apps and different things that help students learn languages. So if I look at the situation in a positive way, this idiom would work really, really well. All right, weather idiom number 2 is rain or shine. So this one just means that whether it is raining or the sun is shining, something will still go on. So the plan or the event will not be canceled no matter the weather. For example, we could say, okay, my wedding is scheduled for September 15th, rain or shine. That means no matter the weather, it's not going to be canceled or postponed. The wedding is still happening on September 15th, rain or shine. You can use this in so many situations, and you actually might see this on invitations or on event flyers or, on online meetings. So that just means this will continue to go on. All right, weather idiom number 3 is going to be break the ice. So some of you might actually know the word icebreaker, and it's actually quite similar. So what this means is to make things more comfortable and relaxed, and usually this is used in new settings with new people or strangers. So we can say icebreaker or break the ice. Let's look at an example. I could say, I decided to break the ice at our work party by telling a funny story. That means that I told a funny story to make things more comfortable, to get people to feel more relaxed so that people can laugh and start the conversation. So other people might use the word icebreaker. So an icebreaker is doing an activity or, some kind of conversation that allows people to feel comfortable. I do this all the time in my own classroom, especially on the first week of school, or even when I'm doing an online conversational lesson, I will do an icebreaker. That just means I'll start with maybe a question or some kind of funny activity, something that just gets people loose and gets people feeling comfortable, and so that they're not so serious and nervous. When I'm doing my online conversational lessons, for example, I will do an icebreaker, or I will break the ice by, asking my student to tell me about themselves, tell me about their city, their country, just having a casual conversation to start us off. That way, they're more comfortable to share more about themselves and be open during the lesson. So this one is really good to use if you're a teacher or if you are a student, so you understand what this means. All right, weather idiom number 4 is under the weather. Now, this one is very, very common. It basically just means you're feeling ill or you're feeling sick. So I could say, for example, I've been feeling under the weather today. I'm going to go home and take a nap. You would use this idiom just to describe how you're feeling. It just means you're not feeling well, you're feeling pretty tired or sick, or whatever it is, you're just not feeling your 100% yourself. You could definitely use this casually too. Let's say you are talking with a coworker and, they asked, oh, where were you yesterday? I didn't see you. And you could say, oh, I took the day off. I was feeling a little bit under the weather. It's very commonly used, as I mentioned, and it's both formal and informal, so you can really use it in any setting. Okay, and the last weather idiom we are going to talk about in today's episode is head in the clouds. So this one just means to not be very focused on what is happening around you. It means that you kind of have ideas in your head and you're not really in the present moment. Let's take an example. I could say, I was not a very good student in school because I often had my head in the clouds. That just means I wasn't always listening to my teacher or, paying attention to whatever is happening around me because my head was in the clouds or I was in my own thoughts. This idiom means you're not paying attention to the real world and you're spending time, sometimes daydreaming or thinking about fantasies, thinking about your future, not really being in the moment, in the present. Sometimes this could be a good thing if you have your head in the clouds, because that means you're a dreamer and you're creative and maybe you're thinking of future goals, but it can also really be used in a negative way. Normally, if we say, oh, that person has their head in the clouds, it doesn't always have a positive connotation. It kind of means, okay, they're not really paying attention, or they're just a dreamer, they're not living in the real world, and they're not really serious, they're not focused. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed our short little episode this week, all about 5 weather idioms. As I mentioned, if you'd like to read the other 5, head over to our blog, and you can do that. I will put that in the description box below. Once again, best of luck to you if you are a student returning to school, or if you are a teacher getting ready to teach back to school. I wish you guys the best of luck in this school year. Even if you are going to start learning virtually, I just hope that it's a great learning environment for you and you learn lots of great things this year. Please subscribe to our podcast if you are enjoying, and please let us know on our Instagram, which is @GlishSocial, if you've been liking the podcast so far. You can always let me know if you have any recommendations or requests for a future episode. I hope you guys are enjoying the #MyEnglishJourney series, where I discuss someone's journey with the English language, normally with students and teachers from around the world. I've been having a lot of fun with that, and I think you guys have been enjoying it, which is great. Be on the lookout for my newest YouTube video. As I mentioned, I will start doing some series showing more about my life and my teaching career, and I will see you guys or hear from you in the next episode. Bye, take care.